And if they don't got all of the Durantula, like stuff like Joan for Durantula has for the Phillies and had with the Twins, then they just go out there with their music. To not close means that you won't be those last 3 outs. So you're essentially feeling kind of like you've been demoted. All right, let's keep it real. Now, I know he's got 15 mil to his name each year, and even though it's not exactly split even 15, 15, 15, it's 13, 16, 16, it doesn't matter. The fact that he's not going to be closing anymore, to me, is a little weird. It's a little weird, but you can't take your guy, Raisel Iglesias, and be like, nah, man, you know what? You've been great the last few years, but we just signed this new guy, and he's going to go ahead and take your place. That's not a good look either. So I suppose this is what Walt Weiss has to do to secure the trust he needs for his squad. But I'm going to keep it real. I foresee, I'm going to call it right now, halfway through the season, I'm going to say around 70, 80 games, we're going to be looking at a possibility that Raisel Iglesias may find himself as the setup guy as opposed to Roberto Suarez being the the 7th or 8th inning guy. Now, as for what happens, we're going to see. I frankly I know this is not enough for the Braves. You got to give Chris Sale some more relief. He cannot be your only guy there. And I know they got a couple other pitchers, but ain't nobody up to the par like Max Fried was. And he's still doing his thing in New York. And they actually got Garrett Cole and them coming back. So I think that this is a good first step, but y'all need more bats and more arms. So hopefully y'all will be able to secure that in the days to come. But as of right now, this is definitely a positive first step. So I know they're happy in Atlanta, in Atlanta right now. This is a good move. And I do worry about the Padres with a dude like Adre Peller at the helm as GM. I think they're going to be all right. Now, I am just now getting back from the winter meetings, y'all. I had to go all the way to Orlando. I mean, it ain't like I live here or nothing, you know what I'm saying? And yes, it was pretty cool. I mean, from the moment you even walk in to the winter meetings, you get this overwhelming feeling, that you there, you in the right place, you where you supposed to be. They're filming the MLB Network shows right there in the lobby. Like as soon as you walk in the door after you turned in your key, this is the first thing that you see. You're like, oh, y'all going to just tape a show right here in front of me. Okay, that's cool. And so that was definitely awesome. While I was there, I was able to interview a lot of folks that I was really happy about. Some folks I missed ever so slightly. Some folks I caught that I didn't expect to. But among some of my favorites, I do have to say it was really nice to get some of the folks that I had on my list out of the way. One of them was, a few of them were just other folks that were Black that also like to talk baseball. One of which consists of my homeboy, Russell Dorsey. Yeah, I called him my homeboy. I know we ain't really boys like that, but my man gave me some time. He's hella cool, and he's definitely hella informed, and he's an insider. So hopefully I get a chance to chop it up with him a little bit more. I got something coming from him in a little bit as well. Also got a chance to speak with the John Boyd crew, who I think is hella cool. Like these are some young dudes that talk baseball in a younger generation. I think that these types of media outlets are necessary because a lot of these old cats, I'm not going to name names, but it feels like they don't necessarily have any interest in getting a new generation interested in the sport. And you can't do it the same way it happened for your generation. So these dudes do it the right way, in my opinion. I also got a chance to see some some OG players like Eric Davis, the big slugger out of Cincinnati, fast dude, had that weird bat wag. It's the homie Dusty Baker, who we know was the coach. He's the manager of over there. He was with the Giants and it was the Astros and the Cubs and all that. But definitely, it was a big name, especially in the world of black. And I'm going to tell y'all a story about Dusty Baker in a second. Don't go nowhere because it's hilarious. This dude is so funny. He now is a manager of a Nicaraguan team. And I asked him, I was like, do you speak Spanish? He's like, su poquito. And we had a whole convo about that. Also, look at these gentlemen, Cliff Floyd, the homie Xavier Scruggs. Xavier gave me an interview. Cliff gave me an interview. It was definitely a good weekend for all. So I'm happy to report that I did not feel like I was isolated while I was there. I just was a newcomer in the meetings, in the winter meetings, because this was my first time attending. Now, some of the big news that dropped while we were there, of course, we've already gone over it. The Pete Alonso deal rocked the world. I don't think that many people were necessarily expecting him to go to the Orioles. They knew it was possible, but it wasn't them expecting it. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain they weren't expecting it. My homie Russell Dorsey, like I said, he actually talked to me about this subject, and he had some things to say, because when I was sitting there thinking about what was happening with Pete Alonso, I was wondering why he hadn't been offered a deal yet. Like, why are the Mets constantly, excuse me, at least of the last few years, Steve Cohen seems almost annoyed at the thought that he may have to, or even have to consider signing Pete Alonso, who's been consistently giving them 20, 30 home runs a season, 40 if you're good. He's consistently at first. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's a couple flubs in there that people don't mention. Like, they don't like to mention the fact that Pete, yeah, he can do first base, but is he the best first baseman? Maybe not. Let's check that out above average. Also, let's not forget that some people do hold Pete Alonso accountable for the Kenta Maeda, not Kenta Maeda. Not Kenta Maeda. You know what I'm talking about. You know the pitcher. You know what I'm talking about. What is the pitcher name again? My name. Not Kenta Maeda, but his homeboy. Kodai Senga. The Kodai Senga injury. Excuse me, brain fart. He threw the ball up to first base. Kodai Senga had to reach up and grab it and messed up his leg in the process. Out for the bulk of the season as a result. And you saw what happened to the Mets pitching after halfway through the season when they started falling off completely and ended up not making it into the playoffs and conceding, losing to the Miami Marlins in their last series, which ultimately got the Cincinnati Reds, led by Terry Francona and Ellie De La Cruz, to the playoffs for the first time in a few years. So that was interesting. Now, as for me, I felt like Pete Alonso should have been offered a deal by the Mets. It seems so weird. I think that their big issue was that he's a little older, that maybe he's in decline. They don't like to do all these years, but it feels like the Orioles are winning the offseason. Let's see what Russell has to say about why it is the Mets are so apprehensive about signing what some people considered their Mr. Met. Vince Taylor with MLB Bros Live with Russell Dorsey from Yahoo Sports. You know the man, the muscles, the afro. Let's go ahead and do it.